Ladies and gentlemen, we are now live. Welcome to a conversation with, and I am your humble host, Floyd Marshall Jr., and my amazing and talented co host, Okima T. Moore. And today, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever watched this show, you've seen the guests that we've had on here, and they have been some amazing people. But today, we have television and film royalty. And the resume for this young lady is so extensive, and it has on it some of the best television, but more importantly, Black television and Black film, iconic, life changing roles, and just things that you grew up watching. So today, we are joined by none other than the iconic, the legendary Anne Marie Johnson. And that's all I need to say, because if you don't know who she is, go look her up. Welcome to a conversation with. I am so excited for you to be here.
I'm very happy to be here.
Wow.
We are happy to have you.
Yeah. This is nice.
Congratulations. Congratulations on everything, on the longevity of your career, on how you have shown up in this business, on how you ain't never been in the tabloids, honey. How how you have kept it not just consistent but together. And having this new beautiful film that you are on your promotional tour for. Now, let me tell you something about my co-host Floyd. So Floyd, I tease Floyd all the time. Floyd is probably one of the most emotionally intelligent men I've ever worked with.
Thank you so much.
He is a big old crybaby, and we love him for it.
Yes, I am.
We respect that.
But he also will find your kindergarten recital if it exists anywhere on the interwebs. So I'm going to let Floyd kick it off, because I'm sure, as per usual, Floyd has been digging in the ninth realm of the Earth's core.
Okay.
To find things and talk to you about them. So I'm going to let Floyd start, because he warms my heart.
Yeah.
I'm pitting out already.
So I had like 5 pages of notes, and then I have like 6 cards worth of questions.
Yeah, Floyd will ask 5 of them, because I will never let him do that. But his preparation is unmatched. And for the audience, I thought I was not going to make it today. So I let my good new sis, Anne-Marie, know that I was running. And Floyd was over prepared, because he was going to be out here solo dolo.
Yes. And you know what I told my wife? I said, you know what? I said, Okima is doing something. So I did a deeper dive.
I knew. I already knew. So go ahead. Take it away, Floyd.
Well, again, Anne-Marie, it is just so phenomenal having you here. And how did you get started in the business?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think, and it's not folklore. I believe in kindergarten, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And through the years of elementary school, I was in, the little plays. I was trained as a concert violinist, believe it or not. So I was always in the orchestras, always in musicals, always knew my path, and had very supportive parents who the only assurance they wanted from me is that I would go to college and that I would have a major and a minor. And I satisfied that, and they really supported every phase of my career up until the point, thank goodness, they lived to see In the Heat of the Night. And I traveled with, I did a film in Italy. So I brought my mother, and we traveled throughout Italy together. So it was so nice to have my folks enjoy the fruits of their labor and of my labor, because that's the most satisfying thing you could possibly do. So I went to elementary school, all public school education, graduated from UCLA, and jumped into equity waiver theater right away. And from that, I probably did maybe 12 plays in a row. And then an agent discovered me. Probably, it was so wonderful. The first agents I ever had were 2 African-American women, and that's
Wow.
highly unusual in the industry. But we're talking about the Stone Ages. So that was, who cares how old? That was 1982.
Oh, wow.
And God, Cynthia and Yvonne, they were wonderful. The Robinson Agency, and they represented me for years and started my professional career. And that's how it happened.
Wow. So you were on game shows, so that's how you kind of broke into
Did.
in the front of camera work.
Yes, I knew I devoured biographies and autobiographies of the stars of the studio system, right? So I learned a lot about the industry through all of my reading. And I forget what actor it was, but they talked about game shows of the 50s and the 60s. And I said, well, we've got game shows now. So I did several game shows. Back then, you could do more than one game show in a certain amount of time. They've changed that now. But I did several game shows, and that's where I got the level of comfort with the red light. Because when you're doing a game show, there's a red light on that camera, and you're talking like Norma Desmond. You're talking to the fans outside in the ether, and you get really comfortable with it when you do game shows. And that's where I started. I started doing game shows.
Wow.
I
Wow.
love it. I love that you talk about game shows, because it's like people don't realize that there's so many ways to build up your skill set in this thing.
Yes.
Like the transferable skills from one thing to another
Mhm.
literally help you stay afloat when something goes wrong or something goes awry.
Mhm.
In your early days, do you have an interesting either situation or story where you kind of got caught out there and was like, but I got it?
Oh gosh.
Well,
Well,
like Floyd knows something.
yeah, we all have those war stories, right? But
I
maybe
did my
I'll leave
research.
that with Floyd to tell me. But there was, I think, probably the situation that really kind of tilted my earth off the axis was when a potential agent wanted me to disrobe in his office to make sure that I was physically appealing enough. And he thought, listen, my father was a police officer and my mother was a school teacher, and they didn't raise a
No
dummy.
fool.
No fool. And I exited quite quickly. Now, unfortunately, a lot of young people are so desperate to get an agent or get somewhere. Many would have stayed and been abused that way, but I had a really strong foundation. As we said in Hollywood Shuffle, there's always a job at the post office, right? So I was desperate
I
to
know more.
well, yeah. That's true. I'm gonna have to come up with well, remember, Hollywood Shuffle was shot in the late 80s. But I was desperate to create art, but I wasn't desperate. So that makes a big difference.
Today, the phrase I use all the time is I am hungry, but never will I be thirsty.
Never. There's a big difference between hungry and thirsty, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I think that was what really kind of jarred me enough to be more aware of my surroundings, more aware of who I'm with, what offices I go to. I just became a little smarter.
Wow. So
Now,
you
what did you think of, Floyd? I saw you chuckling over there.
well, you know what? It's interesting because it was a similar situation, but you were when I was doing my research, you were talking about the situation where you were on a film set and the director wanted you
Oh,
disrobed.
oh,
You did the scene one way, and then the director said,
Yes.
well, we need you to do it this way.
Yes. That was Buzz Kulick, who died a few years ago. Really famous director, Buzz Kulick. And I was doing a Jackie Collins miniseries called Lucky Chances. And
Come
it
on,
was
Jackie Collins.
yeah, you know, it was a 6-hour movie series.
Mm.
And I was like, it was probably, I was working, but this was big. I think it was probably the second biggest job. In the Heat of the Night was the big job. So I did this during a hiatus during In the Heat of the Night, and it was a wonderful character. It was a character that aged through the 6 hours from 17 to 75. I mean, it was a really challenging. It was wonderful, and huge cast. And so in one phase of my character's life, she was forced to sell her body in order to survive on the streets. So we had a scene where I was in bed, not with a John, but with someone I really love, but I was in bed. And the director said, okay, great. That was great. Now we're going to do the European version. And I want you to get out of bed naked and walk across and then end up and blah, blah. And he's explaining it to me. And I'm saying to myself, first of all, there was no nudity rider in my contract. So the scene was never in the original script. So I'm sitting, and you've got 100 people on the set waiting for this to go. And I said, no, I don't think I'm doing that. And he says, yeah, but we need it for the European version. I said, guess what? I've never heard of that. And I'm not doing that. And he says, if you don't do that, and the worst thing is, Jackie was there, the executive producers were there, and the other actor was there with me. No one came to my defense.
That was crazy.
And then Buzz Kulick said, if you don't do it, I'm just going to have to shut down production. I said, shut down production. And they did. And I just went to my dressing room, got dressed, went home.
I know that's right.
Yeah, the production, we worked the next day. He wasn't going to intimidate me to some European version. I knew it was bullcrap. It happens all the time. But
so if you don't go get whatever body double you dug up,
you know what? We have to start all over again because that's a brand new negotiation. I'm not stupid, right? So he thought he could intimidate me. And what I learned was you're going to fight your battles on your own because there were 100 people on that set and no one came to my defense.
Listen,
wow.
Because the saying is true. No one's going to save you.
Nope.
If America figured that out this year.
Yeah, right. We're
in the last 3 months, America figured out. Ain't nobody going to save you.
What we've known for a long time.
Well, I mean, welcome to our world.
Yeah. Welcome to pigmentation.
And they walk around shocked, like, I can't believe this is happening. Every light.
And we're like, it's Thursday.
Right. Shout out to the allies that also got shunned and dealt with because they were on our side before the rest of America figured it out.
Better believe it. So it's been fascinating, right? But it is a valuable lesson. You have to really be prepared. You really have to be prepared to fight your battle. Just as long as you know it's your battle and you're not being arbitrary and you know that something is righteously wrong, you have to stand up and fight for it.
Yeah. And understand that like advocating for yourself is a survival tool in this business, especially now.
Yeah. More so now than ever before.
Yeah. Because like, don't get me wrong. I love the unions and everything, but they are here for what they perceive as the greater good. And if that is infiltrating your personal whatever, again, you're on your own.
But here's the funny thing. This was in 1992. I had not run for any office at that time. I think the first time I ran for office, the Screen Actors Guild, was probably 1995, let's just say. When I became a national board member and then ultimately vice president of the Screen Actors Guild, it was a pleasure and an honor and an obligation to educate our members about what our rights are.
Mm.
And I spent 21 years doing it. This is in late 2025 I retired from the board, but I spent all of that time educating our members on our rights. And that's probably, putting aside the art of what I do, working for the members at the Screen Actors Guild was without question the most satisfying professional experience I've ever had.
I love that.
That is
I love that.
that is absolutely amazing.
So as you push forward now, talk to us a little bit about how you perceive the industry and your place in it today versus the journey to get to today.
I think today, there's been a transition in my career, by choice, but also by necessity. As the film reflects, the older you get as a woman, you have to be very nimble and skillful and multi-hyphenate and be comfortable wearing many hats, because there is ageism is the most used and loved ism in the industry. No one has any qualms of saying you're too old and we're moving on. No qualm. They don't even stutter. It's kind of like, nah, you're too old. And they know there are no repercussions. Or if there are, it's just like a little slap on the hand and a little financial penalty. And it means absolutely nothing. So all the years I spent working in the guild, my specialty was negotiations in our contracts of what we used to call then affirmative action, what we call now diversity, and people get very nervous about that. But my obligation was to make sure that those who self-identify within the 4 protected groups, women of color, women of a particular age, people of color, and stunt performers and people with disabilities. That's who I specialized in. And I was trained to strengthen the wages and working conditions in our contracts to make sure that everyone has an equal opportunity to earn at least the minimum that our union can. So taking that useful education, I've now used it as a producer. So, now I'm producing projects, and that's how I pivoted. I knew that, unfortunately, the powers that be would limit my on-screen camera time. So now what I do is I only produce projects where I can be a pivotal character in front of the screen and behind the screen. And it's very satisfying. It's exciting. And I love doing it. And I get to pick and choose what projects I want to be a part of. Now, still auditioning. I'm 99% of my roles are through auditions. And so I still have to pay the bills, and I still have to qualify for health insurance, and I still have to, secure and protect my pension. But I am also concentrating on producing unique projects.
Wow. And we're gonna circle back to that, because you talked about wanting to stay in the independent film lane.
Yeah.
But before I go there, I just want to go back a little bit, and I'm going to mention some things. Hollywood Shuffle, I'm Going to Get You Sucker, In Living Color, Girlfriends, What's Happening Now, In the Heat of the Night, That's So Raven, Living Single, The Parkers, and the list goes on. And as I said, when we first came on, you have been a part of some of the most recognized and iconic films and television and cinematic history. So what was it like, and what is it like now to know that you have been a part of such amazing bodies of work that so many years later, people are still talking about these films? Because Hollywood Shuffle is one of my absolute favorite films. And one of my favorite scenes is when Keenan is sitting at Winky Dinky Dog
Yeah.
and they are admonishing him. And no, Keenan is talking to Robert Townsend.
And he's
And Keenan
admonishing.
says,
Yeah.
I went from assistant crew chief to crew chief. I went from $2 to $2.25. Let me tell you something. When he for that it's just an amazing film. And you know, I'm going to get you sucker. So what has it been like for you, having been such a part of such amazing film and television throughout your career?
The funny thing is, tomorrow night, I don't know when this interview will.
It's live.
This is live. We live.
Okay, fabulous.
Yes.
So tomorrow night, I've been asked to. I'm going to UCLA, and the film center is screening Hollywood Shuffle.
Oh boy.
Oh,
so there'll be a Q&A and stuff like that. And it's really quite funny because it's going to be screening for people who weren't even born. It's going to be screening for people whose parents hadn't even met yet. You know,
not that haven't met yet.
Haven't even met yet. It's really, first of all, I thank God every night and every morning, because you know, we all desire to create art that will be remembered, that will outlive us. And fortunately, there are projects that I had the honor to be a part of that will live on. I don't have children, you know, so.
But you have so many babies in the
street.
But
I have a lot of babies. I have so many babies out there who are growing up and maturing quite well. And to be part of Hollywood Shuffle, we knew, because Robert was just so determined and so smart and had everything planned. And these were my friends. You know, Rusty Cundiff and Robert and Keenan. I mean, this was the crew, Ren Brown, and this was the crew of Black West Coast. Very different than the Spike Lee crew. We were the West Coast crew, right? And we'd all known each other for years and struggled together and knew each other at auditions. So Hollywood Shuffle was just so natural. And while we were making it, we knew we were making something profound, but we never, ever, ever in a million years thought that we'd still be talking about it. And I'm just so happy that I have that to share with the generations. I'm just same with I'm Gonna Get You Sucka. I mean, that, you know, when Keenan, this is when you have to release your ego. So Keenan called me and he said, Amory, I have a role for you in my next film. And I went, oh, wonderful. What's the role? And he said, I'm going to send you the script. And I went, I said, oh, fabulous. Let me read the script. So I read the script and I said, the female lead, the girlfriend. This is perfect. Oh, this would be wonderful. How wonderful. I'll play the girlfriend. So I said, yes. And he said, no, that's not the role. I said, well, I was thinking, okay, well, what role are you referring to? He said, I want you to play Cherry. I said, who the hell is Cherry? He said, Cherry. I want you to play Cherry, the prostitute. And I said, Keenan. My whole life, I promised that I would never play, and I did it on Hollywood Shuffle because there was a social commentary about the blah blah blah. He said, Amory, shut up. Just come on, man. Just look at this role. And that was the best advice ever, because Cherry is one of the funniest her moments on screen, and we had such a good time. And that was all because of Keenan. He knocked me off my pedestal, and he said, comedy is comedy, and you can pull this off. And we did, and it was a blessing. And so it's great to be part of things that in the heat of the night. I mean,
I told you, I used to sit, so the room that I'm in right now,
yes,
is the room I used to watch it in with my grandmother.
Crazy.
and it was her thing that became our thing, because
Yeah.
I was little, so I didn't really know what.
But it was her thing. Yeah.
Because baby, she loved herself some Archie Bunker, and so
Yes.
because he was on all the shit, like that's how she followed him.
Yep.
To All in the Family, because
Yep.
that was her man's in them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
for me as a little girl watching, things like you from In the Heat of the Night to like the comedic things that you had done, like between your work in comedy, especially like What's Happening Now, like I loved you.
Yes.
Roger's Wife, like I loved that show for
that
myself.
was so fun. That was so
and
fun.
never realized until I got much older about Miss Nima being the director. Like I didn't even know women could do that, right?
Nima Barnett.
And listen, and to this day I will call her Miss Nima.
Yeah,
and she laughs all the time. I'm like, hey, Miss Nima. She's like, you're almost like the girl. I'm like, whatever, Miss Nima. But like, I didn't know, like watching you do that, or like when Whoopi did her one woman show, or just what you ladies were doing. I did not know as a child when I said I want to do that it included directing, producing, what you guys are doing, they're doing now.
Yeah.
But like, it's the words that we speak to ourselves, even when we don't know what they mean. So like what I said at SVA, I mean to my core, you literally created this space for us to have much of what we have today as women producers, directors, actors. Like I love comedy, but I always get booked for like more serious things. And when I started to get into comedic roles and people saw that like it was something, because like I did sketch for so long. So but it was watching you guys. And so I love that Keenan said that. I remember the very first time I auditioned for the sketch comedy troupe that I was a part of for like 10 years.
Wow.
I didn't get in the first time.
Right.
And she was like, you just wouldn't let go. You were afraid to look, you were afraid to be ugly. You were afraid
gotta be the ego.
Like, you were afraid to be ugly. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, you were too stiff. I knew you needed a minute. So you weren't ready then, because you wouldn't have done. Whereas now, the things that I've done on that.
You're so prepared to be ugly.
Yeah. And you know who talked about that? I remember when I was acting, and I went to the ABFF and I took Bill Duke's acting
Bill
camp.
Dukes.
And that was one of the things that he talked about. He called it falling backwards into darkness. He was like, yo, you got to just like, you sit up there, you trying to be cute.
Yeah.
No,
ain't nobody here for you to be cute. You gotta be truthful to this role. And when you're not truthful, it comes across.
Well, they can smell it.
Yes.
They can smell it when you walk into the room. And it's funny because my moment was watching not only Diane Carroll, but Denise Nicholas. So those were my moments of, wait just a minute, I can do that too. I can be part of, because when I was growing up, boys and girls, there were very few, if any. That was when it was appointment television. People got really excited and we said, oh my God, Diane Carroll's on, and everything stopped for the Black community. We stopped and we said this, and it wasn't Amos and Andy. And it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It was Diane Carroll.
It was Dynasty.
Oh, no,
First
honey.
of all,
it was Julia.
Yeah.
Yes, Julia. Yes.
Listen, but to watch
this generation.
But again, it's like watching you guys morph from In the Heat of the Night to What's Happening Now to Living Color to I'm Gonna Get You Sucka. Like, you gave all the range from watching Diane Cara and Julia to It's Burnt. Like,
yes, right.
Like,
we all need the opportunity. We have to be prepared for that opportunity. And you know, with the project that I'm promoting now, I've never been given that opportunity to play this type of character.
Let's get into that, because baby, listen, there is nothing like watching your favorite commonly known comedic actress or actor sit in a drama and serve. Ma'am.
Thank you.
Ma'am. It was like so good. And you saw, like, I mean, I don't know what the universal reactions have been to the screenings, though I can assume because at SVA, baby, we all loved you. That little man in the audience wanted to come up on stage and just find you.
Who I've befriended.
I bet.
Yeah.
He is your
Damon
best
Evans.
mouthpiece. Are you kidding?
Damon Evans. Yeah. Wonderful actor, wonderful operatic performer. So
But talk to us about settling in. Talk to us about the film in general.
Sure.
And then settling into and diving into this character, because she was nuanced and we know her. Like, we know this woman.
Yeah,
we either are or know this woman.
I think there's a bit of Joe stock in everyone, regardless of their gender. The Addiction of Hope is really about a woman who has to come to terms with the hamster wheel. Do you keep doing the same old thing, getting the same results? Or do you finally just say, wait, just a minute, I'm not satisfied. This is not fulfilling. My soul is not being plenished. I am starving for community and communication. And why am I letting others dictate when my time is up? Or why am I allowing others making these grand decisions for me? And I think everyone over the age of 18 has been placed in those circumstances. And with Joe Stock, with the character that I portray, she gets pretty raw and honest, not only with herself, but on the screen. This is really, this is as Okeem and I are very familiar with the beauty roles where the hair is on fleek and the makeup is killer and the lighting is great. They call it Dorsey lighting, where it's nice and creamy. And, there was none of that in this film, because the director and screenwriter said, no, this has to be real. This cannot be a Hollywood film. And so that was very challenging to be that vulnerable. And but it only helped the whole project. So the Addiction of Hope is about taking a chance, and you're never too old to take a chance, and the trials and tribulations of coming to that decision to change, and what that means familially, with your family and with your career and with yourself. And it's very uplifting. It's a tough film, but ultimately it's an exceedingly uplifting film.
Wow. Excuse me. It's so interesting because this film was funny. And the opening scene, it had me laughing, but it also had me going like, ooh, because I'm not going to talk too much about it because I want people
don't want to give it away because it's about to drop.
You do some things in the opening scene, and the computer comes on and it's like the brush off. You talk to the other guy, it's like the brush off. And I'm sitting there saying, wow, this is how they are with ageism.
Yes.
It's like the brush off.
In your face.
In your face. They weren't subtle about it.
No.
There was no subtlety at all. So can you talk about the preparation that went into this role? Because this movie had so many layers.
Yeah.
And when people see it, I really hope that they get the nuances in the film, because there was some stuff going on that was unspoken. So can you talk about what it was like preparing for the role of Joe?
Well, even though I'm nothing like Joe Stock, I am Joe Stock. Every actor, everyone who's given decades of their life and time and energy to a particular career, regardless of what that career is, has experienced what Joe Stock experiences, her experiences. And so preparation wise, it's such a well-developed character that I only had to bring my tools to it. I didn't have to bring anything else to it. Much of her experiences I've experienced in a particular way, but I dealt with them differently. Joe and I, like I said, Joe and I are very, very different. But we've all been dismissed. We've all been ignored. We've all been, I mean, the simple story today of being told by this particular newspaper reviewer, you're not worth me driving for 2 hours to get to the theater to interview you and to see your film. That is the perfect example of the
Yes.
Therein lies the irony. Therein lies the irony that this person felt so comfortable to say that to me and think that I would not take offense to that. That I was not important enough. This project was not important enough for their job. This is what they get paid to
What
do.
you literally do for a living.
So we've all been there. It doesn't matter what job you have. We've all been there. And the question is, at what time do you take agency? At what time do you pivot and say, you know what? I think I'm not going to quit my job, but I'm going to readjust to find fulfillment somehow, because we all can't just quit our job. That's not realistic.
No.
But we can find, we have the faith and determination and advanced brain to find joy in whatever we do. And that's what the addiction of hope is.
Like I told you, if you're going to be addicted to something, hope is a thing.
Yes. Right?
You're going to be addicted to something. Being addicted to hope is a good start.
But the thing that stood out to me with that quote, when I was listening to another interview that you did, being addicted to hope is a good thing, but then you were saying some people take it so far that they're not doing anything to help that hope flow.
It becomes a crutch for some people, right? It's like I pray every day, every night, but you have to put action behind your prayers. You just can't say, oh God, please, or Jesus, please, but you have to actually put action to it. The same thing is with hope. Hope is very prayerful, but you can't just sit on the laurels of that hope. You can't rely on it. It becomes a crutch. And it can paralyze you.
Yeah.
So it can be uplifting, but can also weigh you down. And that is the dichotomy of hope. And that's what makes it so addicting, because you can hope, and sometimes it comes true. Many times it doesn't, and you're hoping and you're rolling that dice. And so it's a very interesting concept to spend some time watching people deal with the agonizing positives and negatives of hope.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about working with, so for those that don't know, the film was written and directed by Anne-Marie's longtime husband.
Yes, longtime husband. Morton Gottlieb, my longtime husband.
So talk a little bit about, because we watch couples work together. Sometimes it's wonderful, and sometimes if you ask the couple, it ain't so wonderful. So talk a little bit about, being this vulnerable, being this open, and how working with your partner did or didn't help that process.
It was from beginning to end fantastic. It was, we both knew our lanes. I was a producer, he was a producer, our other partner is a producer. We wore multiple hats to get this film going. It was our money, so it's self-funded, which makes it very, very difficult. But it was and continues to be a fantastic experience. And we've always been best friends, but we became even closer. And we've been together. We celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary in Portland just 2 days ago at a screening.
Congratulations.
But we dated for 10 years before we got married. So he's been in my life. We've been in each other's lives for 40 years.
Nice. Wow. Floyd, didn't you just have an anniversary too?
My 38th is coming up in October. Thank you.
Congratulations.
45 years altogether.
Oh my God. We're oddities. We should be in the, Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yeah, that's they're walking by the display case. Here you have longevity.
Listen, last year, I unfortunately lost my grandparents, my stepdad's parents. They were married for 72 years.
Oh,
God. They passed away at 89 and 96, literally weeks apart. But they were married for 72 years.
That is amazing.
That's so beautiful to hear.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think when you work with your best friend and you trust them and you know each other so well, it's very collaborative.
Mm-hmm.
It was really a dream. It was fabulous. And I trusted him, and he pulled out a performance from me that no other director had even cared to, because he loves me. My husband loves me, and he wants me to do well. And, and that's always a nice thing.
No, that's beautiful. I mean, it's so funny. There's a younger couple that I directed this past summer. The film is kind of in flux in this moment, but they're a young couple, Sky Black and KJ Smith, both from the TPS world. But it was a beautiful experience with them, watching him. Like, he never overstepped, because I was the director, but he would be like, can I just tell her something? Because I'd be like, I need you, but he'd be like, can I just tell her something?
Wow.
And watching him, and I would give him the, I'm like, and he would just go whisper whatever. And then I'd be like, okay, KJ, so we need it. And then she would give it.
Yeah.
And it's like watching couples in creativity are a different thing. It's like Salim and Mara. It's like
really a different thing.
It's such a different thing, but it gives you all the good output. But let's also talk about the resourcefulness, because on this platform we talk a lot about independent things. We know there's a difference between indie and independent. Independent is, I had $2 million and Scarlett Johansson came for 500,000 and did me a favor.
Yeah, not so independent. Yeah.
Indie
is,
I shot my crib.
Yeah, right. No, this was purely indie. This was indie through and through. It's a full-length feature. It looks like an incredible full-length
feature. It looks like y'all got money. In the words of early Quinta Brunson, y'all had money.
It was a 5-person crew. And each of us, 5 people. And including, it was my husband, obviously, myself, our partner, David Matakin, who's also our DP. Then we had our script continuity, Valerie Grant, and then we had our sound mixer, Kevin Johnson. And it was the 5 of us who made this film. And we didn't have a casting director because, we have so many friends who are incredibly talented that we just, said, hey, would you like to? It was a SAG contract because I negotiated the SAG contract since I was, on the board and understood the SAG contract. And, it's a legitimate feature film that, thank God, was acquired. So it'll be streaming, but it is an indie. It is an indie.
Okay.
You can do it.
I'm just going to put these. I'm going to put these aside, and because I was going to go here a little later, but you talked about wanting to stay in this space.
Yeah.
So anyone who is listening right now, or will be listening or watching this in the future, I really need you to go to see this film, because if you're saying I need $20 million to make an amazing film, you do not.
No.
I really need, but I really need you guys to watch this film. You just heard Emery Johnson say she had a 5-man crew. That is shocking.
I do want to preface that with, these are also a 5-person crew of true veterans in the business. So that 5-person crew comes with a 25-person set of knowledge, which is why the 5-person crew could give the product that they gave. If you just got here, please don't think it's you and your 4 friends that's gonna make. It's not gonna be the same thing. not going to be the same thing. So,
It's
you know,
not.
we love to encourage our audience and our people, but we also are realist pragmatists
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you just got here and you learn how to, you know, if you're a new director and you still figuring out how to direct traffic, let alone a film, maybe you need some help.
Yeah,
Yes, you do.
yes, and it's very, very true, because we did the numbers, and we put all the years together of not just our crew, but of our cast, and it was 373 years of experience.
Wow.
Right. So if you
And
have 3,
yeah, and
maybe
You ain't gonna
you
do
gotta
this.
that's not how you want to do it. Now, be encouraged.
yes.
Be
Oh my
encouraged.
God, yes.
But also be smart,
Yeah.
because the money you do have, you will waste if you don't show up the way you need to.
You
Or-
always, yeah, we knew how to produce, we knew how to be line producers, we knew how to negotiate contracts, we knew how, you know, to shoot a film, we knew my husband and David edited the film. We were able to, once we were in post, we had 2 additional people do the colorization of the film and the sound mixing of the film, and then we went to the market and went through the film festival, sir. We became Fuller Brush salespeople. It is hard work when you're not affiliated with a studio. You're on your own.
Yeah.
So you can't be faint of heart. You have to have very thick skin. A funny thing, we were talking to a potential distributor, and it was a nice conversation and everything was going well. And he said, listen, there is a scene I think you need to consider cutting. And we thought, interesting. So what scene is that? He said, I really think that you need to cut the golfing scene, because no one would believe 2 Black women golfing.
Thank you so much for your time. See ya.
And I said, but there are 2 Black women golfing. I mean, we didn't have stunt performers. We were golfing. We are avid golfers.
But like, also, what?
That makes it.
Listen, that was the least of what we had to deal with.
I'm
But,
sure.
you know, you have to go like this. You have to knock it off, and you have to keep moving.
Wow.
Wow.
So again, I'm not going to give too much away because I want people to go watch it. But the family dynamics that were going on was rather interesting. Can you just talk a little bit about, you know, you and your sister and the fact that, you know what, I don't know if I should say that because I want people to see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of we it's a very complicated storyline. And in interviews, we tend not to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask you that.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil it.
But I mean, it's a very complicated storyline. And
put it this way, you guys put the dis and the fun in dysfunctional.
Yes, there you go. There you go. That pretty much sums it up.
There's a lot of nuance to that, but just know that you're going to watch it and you're going to align or realize a host of things that you see in your own, in some level of your own family dynamic.
Without question. All of it is exceedingly relatable, but it's also painfully difficult, the relationship.
It is, but it's also freeing. It is very freeing. And sometimes,
Boy, did you cry on this one?
You know what? No.
Okay.
That's good.
I didn't, you know what? But here's the thing. I said I wasn't going to cry. So I was holding back the tears. Because as you said, there were, oh, here y'all go.
That's my Floyd.
My sister died from cancer. And I was the bone marrow donor. Wow. And it gave her an extra year.
Wow.
So
yeah.
So that's why I was like, you know, I kind of had to, you know, really I had to steel myself.
Yes.
to watch certain things. But yeah, I held it
And I
together.
appreciate that. I
Yeah,
appreciate
that's all I'm going
that.
to say about that because I'll
No,
be
but I hear you. And listen, my sister and I are estranged. I haven't seen or spoken to
yeah.
her in over 20 years.
Wow.
Wow.
So you can only imagine um,
Playing that.
playing this role. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's interesting because I'll tell the story. Uh, we did not get along. So when she
wow.
had to get the donations, all of the
Yes.
brothers and sisters
Yeah.
tested, and I was the one that was a match. My other brothers and
Oh
sisters
my
Of
weren't a match.
course you were.
So my
But here's the thing. But of course you were.
yeah. So my
That
brother
is
calls me
so
and he's like, "Yo, so what you gonna do?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What I'm gonna do?
of course.
I'm gonna, you know,
Of
Right.
because I'm
course.
not trying to stand in front of God and be like,
Hello, because
I'm
that's the
not.
ultimate.
We not
That is
doing
the
that."
no.
Because he'd been like, "So Floyd, you had an opportunity and you didn't take it just because y'all didn't get." I was like, "No, we gonna set
Bye,
that
Floyd.
aside."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So no.
But
So
grieving
no.
someone that you have a grievance with is a whole other nuance.
Yeah.
Not that
Well,
that
I
is
mean,
the
yes,
in the film,
and
but like just in general, grieving
life.
someone that you have a grievance with is
Right.
a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and you did the right thing, obviously, and
Hmm.
God will look kindly and is looking kindly on you, and your sister is looking kindly on you, and um, this is why I really only want to do, unless I need to pay a few bills,
Hmm.
I really only want to do projects, whether they're comedies or dramedies or that move people, that people kind of talk about it when they're going home and then talk
Hmm.
about it the next day. And then a week later, they're going to say, you know what? Let me be honest with myself. That is my dynamic too. And it just makes art. And that's why we're in this. It just
Mhm.
makes it much more satisfying.
Yeah, well, it
Yeah.
was an absolutely, absolutely amazing film. So where will it be streaming? If you can talk about that, where will it be
Yes.
streaming?
So, like I said, our last theatrical is tonight. And then we, on or about April 7th, we will be available on our wonderful digital platforms like Tubi and Apple and
Nice.
Amazon and, that crop of distributors who provide us content. So it'll live on. It'll live on and get a second chance of viewership. And we're really quite lucky because the majority of indie films remain on a disc, a little disc that that people share with their family members and their friends. But we were very, very fortunate that we will be able to share this with the viewing public.
I love it. I love it. I'm so honored to have been a part of the festival. I mean, the screening journey.
Thank you so much, Akima. For she was our moderator for our screening at the School of Visual Arts in New York back in March, and it was fabulous.
We
It
had
was.
so much fun.
Oh man, it was really, really good. And wasn't it tough to get the audience to leave? They had to kick us
Yeah,
out.
no, they had to kick us out.
Wow.
They
They
had
had
to
to
kick
kick
us
us
out
out.
'cause everyone had a story they wanted to share.
They
So
had to kick us out.
yeah,
No,
but it
but
was
it was
wonderful.
really good.
It
And
was
I'm
wonderful.
so,
Thank
and
you for
so
that.
Anne-Marie, please let the people know how they can keep up with the film.
Okay. Yeah. We have a website. It's called theaddictionofhopefilm.com. And I believe we're on Instagram and Facebook, but you'll find it. I'm not a supporter of social media. So but I think we definitely have we're on Instagram, The Addiction of Hope. And that's where you can keep up with us. And we'll do another round of PR when the months pass and you're promoting while you're streaming. So hopefully you'll have me back and we can talk about. And I want to talk about. I'm in pre-development of 2 other films, which is going to be great. One in particular is near and dear to me because my father was a police officer, and it's a film. It's a true story about a formerly enslaved man who migrates to California and becomes the first African-American police officer in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Well, you will definitely be back on the podcast because, as we like to say, once you're on, your
Your
family.
family.
Okay.
So you know, once you win, there's no way out.
I'm in, right? I've got that golden key and I can just go, hey,
Yes.
That's it. That's
hello,
Yes.
it.
family. Hello, family.
That's
Yes.
it. I already told you, Anne-Marie, there's no backseats here.
I love it.
No backseats.
No, I really appreciate it. I really, really do. And this has been lovely. And Alkima, we're new friends, and this is exciting. And now, Floyd, you're a new friend, and it's always so good to have. And my grandfather's first name was Marshall, so this
Oh
is really,
wow, that is so
and
amazing.
I'm a graduate of Marshall High School.
Oh, see, you know what? This was ordained. Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, so I love the name Marshall.
That is absolutely amazing. Well, this has been an absolutely amazing conversation. I enjoyed it so much, and just talking to you was just so much fun. That hour really flew by.
Flew by.
Now,
and you see, I had to be nice and be good and try to wrap us up on time because I know you got to get to your screening.
Yeah, we got to get to the screen because I don't want to be like that person and say, "Oh no."
Well, you can come in a couple minutes late and flick your hair because you're the star of the show. Like, I'm here now.
No, remember, I'm wearing multiple hats. I have to put up.
Oh, okay.
I have to check.
Anne-Marie comes into the venue, and her husband work. Okay,
we're working. We're making.
I had to make her put a chair down.
You did. She said, Anne-Marie,
I said, if you put that chair down and let them people pick up that chair, ma'am.
That's so true. You said
we love a grounded star. We love a grounded icon now.
Yes.
We love a grounded icon. We love a grounded icon.
Yeah. So look, if she can pick up a chair, don't be sitting over there in the corner cute. If the star of the movie can pick up a damn chair, don't stand over there being cute.
That's
Come
it.
on now.
That's
there is no cuteness. There is no cuteness in Indy. But I really appreciate the both of you. I really appreciate
we are so grateful for you. Everyone, please make sure April 7th, The Addiction of Hope drops on streaming platforms across the board. So check your Tubies, your Apples, wherever you catch your good streaming, you make sure that you watch the film. Please follow them at The Addiction of Hope on Instagram and Facebook, and make sure that you keep up with what they have going on. And for our listeners, we have such great people. If you have a platform, a media or press platform, and the film drops, make sure you do a review. Make sure you shout it. Make sure you do a review. Make sure you shout it out. If you are one of our viewers and you have seen this podcast and you want to get in touch with Anne-Marie and her people via press, hit us up. We will connect you. This is what this is about, because we cannot complain that we don't see ourselves and we don't see our icons when we don't do the work.
Yes. Amen.
Right? So please make sure you guys keep in touch, shout it out, review it, post it, do your Instagram stitches, all the things, and make sure that you catch this film and keep us posted on how you feel. And you can write, and if you watch it and there's a review, you can even put it underneath this on our YouTube channel, or review it on our Spotify rewind of this podcast.
All the platforms, because we own all of them. We own all of them.
Yeah.
You ain't got to have no social media account, girl. We got you covered.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Thank you. Thank God.
We will have that conversation the next time that you come on. Once the film drops and people have seen it.
Listen, who knows? Because the next time that we talk on this podcast, who knows what the world will be?
Who knows?
Girl.
That's just what we're all here.
Right. Girl. Shout out to the people on the slingshot through the moon.
Shout out, man. I'm just glad they're still up there. So
maybe there's a woman and a black man.
And a Canadian.
And an immigrant.
Look at
what
that.
What could go wrong? It's wonderful. It's fabulous.
Look at that. Well, Anne-Marie, thank you so much for coming on the show. We truly appreciate it. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into A Conversation With, and I'm your humble host, Floyd Marshall Jr., and as always, joined by my amazing and extraordinary co-host, Okima T. Moore. And today we had the absolute honor and privilege of sitting down and talking with the iconic actress and Marie
Producer.
Johnson. Producer, yes, we gotta put that in there.
Thank
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Watch it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Share it with your friends. Make sure that you are watching The Addiction of Hope, April 7th. Let's blow this film up because it is an absolutely amazing film. I'm not just saying that, ladies and gentlemen. The film is amazing, and it is definitely a must watch. So, with that being said, thank you so much for joining us on a conversation with. And as always, love it like a hobby and treat it like a business. Have an awesome, awesome night.
Stay here, Anne Marie.